At her coming-of-age ceremony, my niece Lin Warner shot to fame across the capital with her ode to a beggar. In the poem, she accused me, her aunt, of embezzling 10,000 taels of silver sent by her parents, forcing her to subsist on husks and chaff. Living worse than the hounds in our manor, enraged commoners smashed up my shops. My husband divorced me, then a suitor infatuated with Lin Warner shoved me into a frozen lake, and I drowned. When I opened my eyes again, I was transported back to the day my elder brother and sister-in-law first sent Lin Warner to our home. My sister-in-law Wang put on a fake, gracious smile and pressed a heavy mahogany chest into my hands. Sister-in-law, this is Warner's living expenses. Don't let the girl suffer want. In my past life, I bit my tongue to preserve my elder brother's dignity and never once opened the chest. This time, right in front of every elder of our clan, I raised my foot and kicked the chest over with all my strength. Crash! The mahogany chest split wide open. No piles of pearls, jades and precious stones spilled out. Instead, countless cobblestones rolled everywhere across the floor. Tucked between the stones lay only a few tiny lumps of fragmented silver. Glinting feebly, a deathly hush fell over the hall. Every gaze drifted from the stones on the ground to sister-in-law Wang, whose face had turned beet red with embarrassment. Before coming, she'd specially invited several respected clan elders to witness formally entrusting her daughter to my care. In my previous life, I'd been moved by her solemn gesture and doted on Lin Warner with all my heart. Little did I know this show of earnestness was the first trap she laid for me. It was all so that later, when her daughter accused me of theft, everyone would recall she'd supposedly delivered a chest full of money for the girl's upkeep. Sister-in-law, I broke the suffocating silence with a cold tone. Is this what you call living expenses for Warner? Wang's lips trembled, unable to utter a single word. There's no 10,000 taels of silver here, just a chest full of rocks. Were you planning to make Warner eat stones for sustenance under my roof? My voice was quiet, yet every word struck home like a blade. The faces of the clan elders darkened with fury. Qingyan's wife, what is the meaning of this? Third grandfather slammed his cane hard against the floor. Do you treat the Lin clan's honor as a joke? Wang dropped to her knees with a heavy thud, tears spilling on command. Sister-in-law, our household was strapped for cash. We truly couldn't scrape together the money. We resorted to this desperate ploy just to keep up appearances. Vowing to make up the sum later as she wept, she reached for Lin Warner's hand beside her. Lin Warner sank to her knees as well, her small face ashen, crying delicate, tearful sobs. Aunt, it is all Warner's fault. I am ill-fated, a burden to my parents and a trouble to you too. She lifted her head, eyes glistening with tears as she stared at me. I beg you not to blame my mother and father. What a flawless white lotus, weeping in the wind. In my past life, this pitiful display had torn my heart to shreds. I'd rushed to pull her to her feet, soothing her endlessly and dipping into my private savings to spoil her rotten, terrified she'd endure the slightest grievance. But in this life, watching her perform, I felt only icy scorn in my chest. I made no move to help her up. Instead, I bent down and picked up those few lumps of silver from between the stones. I hefted them lightly, no more than 10 taels in total. Very well, I sighed, sounding worn thin. If elder brother and sister-in-law are in straits, I will not press them unreasonably. Still, these mere 10 taels are meant to sustain her living in our capital manor for an entire year. I trailed off, leaving the implication hanging for everyone to grasp. A flicker of mortification crossed Wang's face, quickly replaced by secret delight. She thought I was still the soft, gullible pushover I'd always been. Thank you for your understanding, sister-in-law. Thank you so much. I fixed my gaze on her and smiled slowly. Do not thank me just yet, sister-in-law. Warner may stay, but let us set things straight from the start. What my daughter Manor eats and wears comes from the efforts of your second brother and me. What Warner eats and wears from now on will depend entirely on the means of your household. These 10 taels will cover plain, simple meals for her. Do not hold out hope for silk garments, pearl hair ornaments or any other luxuries. My gaze swept across Lin Warner's stunned little face. When you live under another's roof, you must behave accordingly. Warner, Do you understand? Lynn Wanner's crying cut off abruptly. She stared at me blankly, as if seeing me for the very first time. Wang stormed off seething with anger later that day. Before leaving, she pulled Lynn Wanner aside and muttered under her breath, "Bear with it for now. Your aunt is all bark and no bite. She will soften up in a few days." She thought I could not hear her. I paid her little mind. That same evening, I ordered the steward to assign Lynn Wanner the remotest small side courtyard on our estate. The yard was compact but clean enough. Still, it paled in comparison to Manor's residence, complete with a private little garden and study worlds apart in luxury. Lynn Wanner lingered at the courtyard gate, twisting the hem of her clothes. Eyes reddening again. "Aunt, I am afraid staying all alone in such a big yard." My kind-hearted daughter Manor tugged at my sleeve and whispered, "Mother, why not let cousin stay with me? I have plenty of spare rooms in my courtyard." This was exactly what I'd done in my past life. Once Lynn Wanner moved in with Manor, she competed with my daughter at every turn. Whatever clothes Manor owned, she demanded an identical set. If Manor's dress was prettier, she wooled accidentally in it. If Manor owned exquisite jewelry, hers would conveniently go missing. In the end, she took everything my daughter had for granted, treating it as her own property. I would never let my child suffer such harm again in this lifetime. I patted Manor's hand, then spoke to Lynn Wanner. "You are already 14, not a toddler. Our Manor has plenty of guards and maids. You are perfectly safe here. You would do well to get used to it." With that, I led Manor away, leaving Lynn Wanner frozen, at a loss for words in the breeze. For supper, we had 4 dishes and a soup, all Manor's favorites: crystal shrimp dumplings, crab meat lion's head meatballs, honey glazed ham, stir-fried asparagus, plus a pigeon broth. Before Lynn Wanner sat a solitary plate of green vegetables and a plain bowl of rice. She gripped her chopsticks tightly, tears pooling in her eyes but refusing to fall. My husband Lin Qingyuan frowned. "Yun Fu, is this really necessary?" I picked up a shrimp dumpling and placed it in Manor's bowl. Speaking coolly, "Has husband forgotten? 10 taels for a full year's board and lodging. To serve her plain white rice every single meal is already an act of great kindness from me." Lin Qingyuan had no retort and fell silent. As the second son of the Lin clan, he cared deeply for his reputation, oblivious to how his elder brother's family had long dragged our clan's good name through the mud. The meal ended in stifling awkwardness. After dinner, Lynn Wanner sought me out with red-rimmed eyes. "Aunt, my parents are only temporarily short on funds. They truly love me. Once their finances recover, they will surely repay all the silver they owe you." "Oh, will they?" I sipped my tea slowly. "Then you may wait for that day." She had not expected such a flat response from me. Stunned for a moment before falling back on her usual pitiful routine. "I do not want new clothes or fancy treats. I only wish to attend Madame Fu's Girls' Academy alongside Manor." Madame Fu, daughter of a former grand tutor, was erudite and respected, running a prestigious girls' academy renowned throughout the capital. Admission to her school brought not only knowledge but elevated social standing. In my previous life, desperate not to let Lynn Wanner fall behind others, I paid 500 taels tuition to enroll both her and Manor. Yet in her ode to a beggar, she claimed I'd stuck her in the lowest class alongside merchants' daughters, subjecting her to constant humiliation. Ridiculous. Madame Fu's academy judged students solely by talent, with no ranking system whatsoever. "You wish to enroll?" I set down my teacup and looked straight at her. She nodded eagerly, eyes blazing with longing. "That can be arranged," I said. "Tuition is 500 taels. Write a letter asking your parents to send the money, and I will sign you up immediately." The light of hope died completely from Lynn Wanner's face. Still, she ended up penning a letter home. Half a month passed before a reply from Wang finally arrived. I handed the unopened letter straight to Lynn Wanner. She tore it open at once, her expression shifting from eager anticipation to shock, then utter despair. I needed not read a word to know its contents. More tales of poverty, urging her to be sensible, fend for herself, and cling close to Manor so she would not trouble me further. In my past life, I'd opened this letter myself, afraid of breaking her heart. I'd burned it secretly and paid the tuition out of my own pocket. I'd even lied and told her parents had rushed the silver over by express courier. Back then she'd thrown her arms around me, sobbing that I was the kindest aunt under heaven. Looking back now, it was nothing but bitter irony. Finished reading, I asked her. She folded the letter silently, head bowed, refusing to speak. Since your parents cannot afford the fee, the academy matter is settled. No. She snapped her head up, stubborn resentment blazing in her eyes. Aunt, please lend me the money first. My parents swear they will pay you back once they are well off. Warner, it is not that I refuse to help you. I sighed, feigning helplessness. You know Manor also needs schooling money. Our Manor supports dozens of staff. I truly have no spare silver to spare. But 500 taels is pocket change for you, Aunt. She mumbled resentfully under her breath. I let out a cold laugh. True, 500 taels means little to me, but why should I spend my money on you? Lynn Warner's face drained of all color in an instant. She had never imagined I would state the truth so bluntly and unflinchingly. You, she stammered, holding back her tears, then spun around and ran off. From that day onward, Lynn Warner seemed a changed girl. She no longer sought my company or tried to ingratiate herself with my daughter. Aside from meal times, she locked herself away in her courtyard all day long. Manor grew worried. Mother, is cousin angry with us? She is not angry at us. I stroked my daughter's hair gently. She resents her own fate and having parents who will not take responsibility for her. Soon came the opening day for Madame Fu's academy. I dressed Manor in brand new brocade scholar robes and adorned her with an entire set of gold kingfisher inlaid hair ornaments. I sent her off in our carriage, beautifully attired. Lynn Warner watched from behind the moon gate of her courtyard far away. She still wore the faded, worn cotton dress she'd arrived in, her gaze seethed with venomous hatred. I knew she hated me. Let her hate all she wanted. It was far better than pouring my whole heart into raising her like my own daughter, only to be ruined by her in the end. Just as in my past life, once Manor left for school, the Manor grew quieter. I turned my full attention to managing my shops. In my previous life, I devoted myself entirely to household and child-rearing, neglecting my businesses. The moment Lynn Warner's ode to a beggar spread and incited public fury, my shops were the first targets, smashed to rubble by rioters. I would never let history repeat itself this lifetime. I replaced incompetent managers with trusted, capable staff and drafted new strict accounting rules, personally auditing the ledgers every day. My husband Lin Qingyuan grew confused by my new diligence. Yun Fu, why are you so preoccupied with business lately? Our household has no shortage of silver. Husband, you cannot rely on mountains forever, nor lean on people endlessly. I replied, sorting my abacus without lifting my head. Only silver firmly in your own grasp is truly dependable. Lin Qingyuan thought I overworried and shook his head, dropping the subject. He could never fathom the utter despair I'd endured once before. The day he pressed a divorce deed into my hand and cast me out penniless. The day angry townsfolk pelted me with stones and rotten vegetables. That was when I learned a woman with no money has nothing at all. A few days later, Lynn Warner fell ill. We sent for a physician, who diagnosed mild cold brought on by pent-up melancholy. I ordered servants to deliver medicine and meals to her on schedule, paying her no extra heed. She hoped to play the martyr to win my sympathy, or make my husband think I mistreated her. But her scheme backfired. Lin Qingyuan visited her once, returning afterward clearly displeased with me. Yun Fu, Warner is your elder brother's daughter after all. Have we not gone too far? Look how frail she has become. In what way have I gone too far? I set down my account books and met his eyes. A young girl's food and clothing, what have I done wrong? I cut him off. I give her shelter and 3 meals a day. When she fell sick, I paid for a doctor and medicinal herbs. I have upheld every obligation owed for those 10 taels your elder brother sent. Your precious niece suffers from a heart ailment. Only money can cure her longing for 500 taels tuition and endless fine clothes and silk. If husband feels pit, why? You may dip into your private coffers to fund her yourself. Lin Qingyuan was rendered speechless. His private savings had long been lent to his perpetually cash-strapped elder brother, leaving him with no spare coin to spare. You are utterly unreasonable. At last he spat angrily and stormed off. I stared at his retreating back, my heart heavy with sorrow. This was the man I'd loved for a decade, the father of my child. In my past life, time and again he let clan familial pressure override reason, sacrificing my and our daughter's interests to fill his elder brother's bottomless pit of debt. In the end, he sacrificed even me. Lin Wanner recovered from her cold within days. Realizing her martyr act gained her nothing, she hatched a new plan, barred from Madame Fu's academy. She began frequenting low-cost literary salons open to the public. With her delicate, tear-streaked looks and a few melancholic, mediocre poems, she built herself a modest reputation. Everyone chattered that the second branch of the Lin Manor's niece, though dependent relatives, was gifted and noble of character, an orchid blooming secluded in a valley. I listened to my maid's reports and sneered inwardly. An orchid. More like a man-eating flower. Before long came the capital's annual chrysanthemum banquet, the most important social event for noble young ladies to compete in elegance and status. In my past life, eager to let Lin Wanner shine, I'd commissioned the capital's finest embroideress to rush her an ornate gown embroidered with osmanthus and studded with pearls. She danced in that dress at the banquet, stunning every guest and outshining countless noble-born young ladies. This lifetime, I prepared a new gown only for Manor, an elegant yet luxurious autumn green dress tailored from top-grade Yunjiang tribute jacquard silk. A few days before the banquet, Lin Qingyuan sought me out, face grim. Yun Fu, have you prepared a gown for Wanner? I have, I answered plainly. His expression softened slightly. Good. We cannot let her embarrass the Lin Manor in public. Rest assured. Husband, I smiled faintly. What I have set aside for her will be the most dignified outfit at the entire banquet. On the day of the chrysanthemum banquet, I sent my maid to deliver the garment to Lin Wanner's courtyard. When she opened the chest, she gasped aloud. It was a gown woven from rare iridescent feather gauze, shimmering rainbow hues in sunlight, breathtakingly beautiful, yet the fabric was extremely delicate. The slightest scrape left permanent irreparable tears. The bolt itself cost 300 taels, worth more than Manor's jacquard dress. Lin Wanner's eyes lit up with greed. She stroked the smooth soft fabric, overcome with disbelief. Is this truly for me? Naturally, young miss. My personal maid Bijou replied with a sarcastic smile. Madam says you represent the Lin Manor's reputation. We cannot have you appearing shabby. Overjoyed, Lin Wanner changed into the dress at once. Standing before her mirror, admiring her ethereal reflection, she smiled triumphantly. Convinced I had finally yielded to her demands, when Lin Qingyuan saw her outfit, he nodded in approval. Yun Fu, you have finally come to your senses. I smiled without reply. Before departure, I deliberately lifted my teacup and accidentally spilled its contents all over my own skirt as I stood up. Oh no! I feigned alarm. Mother, are you hurt? Manor fretted. I am fine. Merely a wet dress. I pretended to chagrin, patting my hem. Qingyuan, you may take the children ahead. I will change clothes and follow shortly. Hurry along then. Lin Qingyuan did not suspect a thing and agreed. Lin Wanner, desperate to flaunt her new gown at the banquet, urged quickly. Yes, Aunt. We can save the best seats for you, please catch up soon. I watched their departing carriage, my smile turning icy. Go on then. Step into your moment of glory. I took my time changing garments, sipped another cup of tea, then rode my carriage leisurely toward Dupding's Manor, venue of the banquet. By my arrival, the feast was well underway. Stepping into the garden, I spotted a crowd clustered together, whispering and pointing. From the center came a young woman's muffled sobbing. I knew exactly what had unfolded. Walking forward unhurriedly and pushing through the onlookers, there sat Lin Wanner crumpled on the ground, her magnificent iridescent feather gauze gown torn to tatters, deep gashes ripped along the hem, a huge tear gaping at her chest exposing her plain inner chemise beneath. She looked ridiculous and pitiful, like a plucked peacock trying desperately to cover her ruined dress with her hands. Noble ladies standing by covered their mouths, snickering quietly. Is that Minister Lin's niece? How could she turn up looking such a mess? I heard her gown was made of delicate iridescent feather gauze, so fragile it needs careful handling just walking. Yet she charged about like a reckless boy, no wonder it ripped. TSK. Common roots show through no matter what you dress them in. Clad in imperial robes, she still cannot pass for royalty. Lin Qingyuan stood nearby, face livid with rage, trembling all over. He was furious not at the gossip, but at Lin Wanner disgracing the family name. Manner stood beside him, lost and confused. Spotting me, Lin Wanner wailed louder, stretching a hand toward me. Aunt, save me. I stepped forward, knelt down, and wiped her tears with my handkerchief. Why are you crying so bitterly? Rise now. I helped her stand, slipping my outer cloak over her shoulders to conceal her ruined dress. Aunt. My dress, she choked, gesturing at the torn fabric. I see. I sighed, sounding full of helpless remorse. It is all my fault. I ought to have remembered you are young and lively, yet gifted you such finicky fabric. This iridescent gauze cannot bear pulling or tugging in the slightest. You rushed from the carriage straight into the garden. It could never withstand such rough treatment. My words sounded like self-blame on the surface, yet told every onlooker clearly, the dress was not shoddy, but Lin Wanner's own clumsy, reckless conduct had destroyed it. Sure enough. Whispers among the crowd grew louder. So she ruined it running around herself, hardly her aunt's fault then. Lady Lin ought not give such costly material to an impulsive young girl, truly a dependent with no exposure to fine luxuries, given a treasure for the first time. She does not know how to treat it properly. Pitiable yet ridiculous. Lin Wanner flushed red then pale, too mortified to keep crying. She had expected me to take all blame onto myself as I had in my past life, berate the mocking noble ladies and defend her honor fiercely. This time, I would do no such thing. Lin Qingyuan burned with embarrassment and snapped at me. Take her home at once. Stop making a spectacle of yourself here. I nodded obediently, supporting the despondent Lin Wanner as we left early amid everyone's stares. Inside the carriage on the ride home, Lin Wanner said not a word, her fists clenched so tight her nails dug into her palms. After the chrysanthemum banquet incident, Lin Wanner grew far more subdued. She stopped attending literary salons entirely, cooped up in her courtyard with some unknown scheme brewing. I cherished the peace, throwing myself fully into my business ventures. Year-end profits rolled in, revenue from my shops doubling compared to previous years. I set aside 2,000 taels to buy Manor top-grade stationery and rare hand-copied books hard to find on the market. Another 3,000 taels I deposited at the money exchange to serve as her future dowry. Watching chests of SI were being carried into my private vault. Lin Qingyuan wore a complicated expression. Yun Fu, elder brother, wrote again a few days ago. He claims trouble in his official post and hopes to borrow 5,000 taels from us to tide him over. Here we go again. Cycle after cycle of temporary loans had drained the second branch dry in my past life. Lin Qingyuan spent our money befriending powerful officials and buying promotions for himself. Meanwhile, we scrimped and saved just to settle his debts. How did husband reply? I asked. I have not yet answered. Lin Qingyuan hesitated. After all, he is my elder brother. Do you intend for me to hand over my silver to plug your elder brother's endless hole? I let out a cold laugh. Yun Fu, do not phrase it so harshly. Elder brother works for the advancement of our entire clan. Is our clan's future built on trading official titles for bribes? I stood upright and stared straight at him. If husband wishes to lend your own salary to subsidize him, I shall raise no objection, but not a single tael of my dowry or shop profits will ever touch his hands. You. Lin Qingyuan pointed at me, shouting furiously. Do you still have the Lin clan in your heart? Would you cast aside family bonds for petty silver? Our argument ended on bitter terms. I knew his loyalty still leaned firmly toward his elder brother. But I was no longer the compliant, yielding Yinfu of my past life. My money belonged solely to my daughter. No one else would lay claim to it. Soon came New Year's Eve. Per custom, the entire clan gathered for a family reunion dinner. Elder brother Lin Qingyan and Wang returned from his official post, travel-worn. The instant they arrived, Wang seized my hand. Lamenting endlessly about their hardships away from home, Lin Qingyan put on the stern air of an elder brother, lecturing Lin Qingyuan for poor household management, saying letting his wife run business in public dishonored the Lin family name. Lin Qingyuan flushed with shame and dared not contradict him. I sat quietly by, watching their performance with cold detachment. Over dinner, Wang piled dish after dish onto Lin Wanner's plate, putting on an overly sentimental display of mother-daughter reunion. Wanner, you have suffered so much living with your aunt. Wang stroked her head, eyes glistening with fake tears. Lin Wanner hung her head, her shoulders trembling as if crushed by endless grievance. Mother, I do not suffer at all. Another flawless act from the little white lotus. Several elders at the table shot me disapproving glances. Third grandfather spoke outright. Qing Yuan's wife. Wanner is your niece after all. You ought to tend to her more carefully. Indeed. We are all one family. Why draw such rigid lines between you? I set down my chopsticks and wiped my mouth with a napkin. I acknowledge your rebuke. Third grandfather. I paused, then twisted my tone sharply. Yet there is one matter I wish to question elder brother and sister-in-law before everyone here. Elder brother holds an official post with a generous salary, and sister-in-law comes from a wealthy natal family. Why, when sending Wanner to study in the capital, could they spare only 10 taels of silver and a chest filled with stones? Silence crashed over the dining table in an instant. Lin Qingyan and Wang turned sickly green with shock. They never imagined I would air this private scandal before the entire clan on New Year's Eve. What nonsense are you spouting? Lin Qingyan slammed his palm on the table, flying into a rage. Sister-in-law, we know you harbor resentment toward us, yet you cannot slander us like this. Wang cried out in defense. Whether it is slander or truth, you two know full well. I turned toward old madam, my husband's grandmother seated at the head table. Grandmother. Several clan elders witnessed the incident that day. They can testify. The named elders shifted awkwardly and nodded reluctantly. Old madam's expression darkened. She valued the Lin clan's reputation above all else. Qingyan, explain what truly happened. Lin Qingyan stumbled over his words, unable to craft a convincing lie. Wang recovered quicker, starting to shed tears again. Old madam, it is entirely our fault. We were financially stretched back then, afraid sister-in-law would refuse to take Wanner in. So we resorted to this desperate trick. We planned to repay the full sum once our fortunes improved. Precisely. Lin Qingyan hastened to agree. We have prepared the repayment silver, and will hand it to your brother this very night. With that, he pulled a plump money pouch from his robe and held it out to Lin Qingyuan. Lin Qingyuan hesitated, caught between accepting and refusing. Glancing helplessly toward me, I sneered inwardly. They had pulled this exact trick in my past life. A few hundred taels to silence me. Then continued draining the second branch's wealth without remorse. How thoughtful of elder brother and sister-in-law. I stood and bowed politely. Yet I cannot accept this silver. Why not? Lin Qingyan frowned. This money is not meant for might, belongs to Wanner. I turned toward the girl. Wanner, your parents have brought you back your living expenses. Are you happy? Lin Wanner nodded numbly. Since that is so, let Wanner keep the pouch herself. I smiled. From now on, every expense you incur in the manor, food, clothes, stationery, even your maid's monthly wages shall come from your own purse. This way, sister-in-law can never claim I mistreat you again. My words stunned every person present. For an unmarried young lady to manage her own funds and cover all personal expenses was unheard of. That is completely improper. Wang objected at once. Wanner is still too young to manage money. You speak incorrectly. Sister-in-law, Wanner is 14, coming of age next year, hardly a child. I replied. Learning to manage her own affairs early will benefit her future household management. Besides, I am certain Warner is clever enough to oversee her own finances. I tossed the decision directly to Lynn Warner. She stared greedily at the money pouch. Calculating quickly, she saw this as a chance to break free from my control. Mother, Aunt is right. I wish to try managing my own money. Wang tried to protest, only for Lin Qingyan to shoot her a silencing glance. In their eyes, money in their daughter's hands remained under their control anyway. Far better than surrendering it to me. And so, witnessed by the entire clan, Lin Warner became master of her own purse. I watched her triumphant grin as she clutched the pouch. My own smile growing colder. Silly girl, you think you have gained freedom. All you have inherited is an endless bottomless pit of expenditure. Starting the next day, I ordered the steward to log every expense from Lin Warner's courtyard and present her with monthly itemized bills. Our main kitchen no longer supplied her meals. She paid for all food herself. Her maids and elderly servants' wages came out of her own pocket too. Within a single month, the 500 taels Lin Qingyan had given her was nearly spent. Panic finally set in for Lin Warner. She began scrimping ruthlessly, surviving on plain rough fare daily. One of her 2 personal maids quit after she repeatedly cut wages short. Her once slightly plump cheeks wasted away visibly day by day, leaving her looking every bit the starving beggar she'd written about in Ode to a Beggar. I observed everything without interfering. Lin Qingyuan softened with pity and came to confront me once more. Yun Fu, look how gaunt Warner has grown. She chose to manage her own finances. This has nothing to do with me. I cut him off. 500 taels would sustain an ordinary family for years. Burning through it in a single month proves nothing but her own wasteful, reckless spending. If husband feels sorry for her, you may give her more silver yourself. But mark my words, once you give once, they will keep coming back for more. You know how insatiable elder brother and sister-in-law are. Lin Qingyuan had no rebuttal and backed down. He dared not give more money, not out of restraint, but because his entire salary had already been borrowed dry by his elder brother. Time slipped by until Lin Warner's 15th birthday, her official comingafage ceremony. To bolster their daughter's prestige, Lin Qingyan and Wang splashed extravagantly to host the banquet at the capital's grandest restaurant, sending invitations to nearly every influential household in town. I knew this feast marked the beginning of my tragic fate in my past life and the day I would settle all scores once and for all in this one. The ceremony venue thronged with guests, bustling and lively, dressed in brand new scarlet ritual robes, topped with a golden hairpin swaying at her temples and elaborate makeup. Lin Warner cut the figure of an esteemed noble young lady, showing no trace of her recent hardship. I knew this fine outfit had been specially prepared by Wang for this exact day, meant to steal the spotlight. Once the ritual concluded came the talent showcase segment. Lin Warner carried a Qin zither forward to the stage. The crowd fell silent, waiting to hear what masterpiece the capital's famed talented young lady would perform. I picked up my teacup, watching her unhurriedly. Your humble niece dares to share a spontaneous composition written for my comingafage. Ode to a Beggar, she announced. With that, she plucked the zither strings and began to sing in lamenting tones. Trapped in gilded walls, clad in ragged bone, fine plates serve only humiliation. Silver chopsticks bear pain alone. My aunt wears gentle smiles, yet her heart holds venomous spite. She swallowed 10,000 taels of gold, casting me aside like worthless refuse. Her voice was mournful and melodic, the zither weeping alongside her words. Line by line, she accused her venomous aunt of embezzling 10,000 taels meant for her, forcing her to live worse than a beggar. Every guest seethed with righteous anger, eyes filled with sympathy, contempt and rage all locked onto me at once. Seated at the head table, Lin Qingyan and Wang wore triumphant grins. Certain victory was theirs. Lin Qingyuan sat beside me, his face deathly pale, staring at me in shock and despair. Yun Fu, is what she sings true? I ignored him entirely, swirling tea lazily in my cup. Her mournful melody a stark, ironic backdrop. Silence hung thick in the air, then erupted into thunderous applause. A young marquis who admired Lin Warner shot to his feet in agitation. Miss Lin possesses unmatched talent and noble character. suffering such cruel injustice. Lady Lin, what defense can you possibly offer? Pay back the silver you stole. How can Minister Lin remain married to such a vicious woman? He ought to divorce her at once. Shouts and accusations crashed over me like a tidal wave. This was how I had been drowned in public condemnation in my past life. Unable to defend myself. Cast out with a divorce deed. And left to die in icy lake waters. But this time, I would not stand defenseless. I rose slowly under every pair of eyes, wearing a calm smile. Warner's Ode to a Beggar is indeed exquisitely written. My quiet voice carried clearly across the hall. Every guest froze. Stunned, I could smile at such accusations. Yet, I pivoted sharply. Several details in your poem contradict the truth. As your aunt, I must set the record straight for everyone present. I clapped my hands twice. My personal maid Bijou stepped forward holding an account book. This ledger logs every expense Warner incurred while residing in our manor once she took control of her own finances. Every transaction is recorded. In full detail. In her first month alone, she spent 520 taels. 100 taels on face powder and rouge. 80 taels on snacks and treats. 300 taels on new garments and hair ornaments. A mere 20 taels went toward actual meals. I ask everyone gathered here, does spending money like this count living off husks and chaff? I flipped open the ledger for the crowd to pass around and inspect. Every expenditure meticulously documented. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Wang's face blanched with terror. This ledger is forged. Easily proven otherwise. I said coldly. Every shop she purchased goods from keeps receipts. Witnesses and evidence stand ready. I turned toward Lin Warner directly. You claim I stole 10,000 taels of silver from you. Can you tell your aunt precisely when and where this 10,000 taels was handed over to my care? Lin Warner faltered for a moment. It was the day I moved into your manor. Mother handed it to you inside that mahogany chest. Oh, was it? I laughed softly. I could swear the chest contained not silver, but nothing but cobblestones. You lie. I speak no lies. The clan elders present that they know the full truth better than anyone. I nodded toward those same elderly men once more. They wore faces heavy with shame and awkwardness. Third grandfather sighed deeply and stepped forward. The fault rests entirely with Qingyin's household. The chest truly held nothing but stones that day. An uproar exploded through the banquet hall. All eyes swiveled from me to Lin Qingyin and Wang, sharp as blades cutting into them. And that is not all. I clapped my hands a second time. 2 shop managers from my establishments walked forward carrying stacks more account books. Everyone. These ledgers record every tael my husband Lin Qingyuan lent his elder brother Lin Qingyin under various pretexts over the past 5 years. The total sum amounts to 37,000 taels. This fortune would buy an entire street of shops for Minister Lin Qingyin. Yet he claims he cannot scrape together 500 taels for his own daughter's academy tuition. I must ask Minister Lin Qingyin, where has all this silver gone? To buy official titles, or to support secret mistresses? My voice echoed loud in the dead silent hall. Lin Qingyin's complexion turned ashen. Beyond mere dismay, the truth was laid bare for all to see. Lin Qingyin's entire family became the laughingstock of the capital overnight. Rumors of his buying official positions, neglecting his own daughter, and manipulating his younger brother's household spread through every street and alley as gossip fodder. Impeachment memorials flooded the censorate, charging him with corruption and moral depravity. An imperial edict ordering a full investigation arrived swiftly. In the end, Lin Qingyin was stripped of his official rank, his property confiscated, and his entire family sentenced to exile 3,000 li away. Wang lost her sanity, unable to bear plummeting from wealth and status to ruin. Lin Warner's Ode to a Beggar, once the source of her fame, became an indelible mark of shame branded upon her reputation. Wherever she went, people pointed fingers and whispered contemptuously behind her back. All the young noblemen who once fawned over her fled from her in avoidance. That marquis who had loudly defended her was first to publicly sever all ties with her. Her meticulously planned comminglage ceremony devolved into a farce known across the whole city. Her bright future vanished completely into thin air. Once the truth came out, my husband Lin Qingyuan stood rigid on the spot. soul seemingly torn from his body. He did not fall ill, yet looked more haggard than any sick man. He locked himself in his study for days on end, sleeplessly poring over the ledgers again and again. When he emerged at last, his bloodshot eyes sunken, his frame gaunt and thin, the way he looked at me held no foolish loyalty to his elder brother, only overwhelming, crushing remorse. He handed over every household deed, land title and vault key into my possession. Then this proud man who had never bowed his head to me dropped heavily to his knees before me. Yunfu, his voice cracked hoarsely, unable to meet my gaze. I was the blind fool all along, obsessed with hollow fraternal duty. I pushed you and our daughter toward ruin. Every tale squandered was flesh and blood carved from Yuan Manor. I have wronged you terribly. I deserve every bit of my suffering. He clung to my legs, weeping like a helpless child. I would not offer forgiveness after all. When crisis struck in my past life, he had chosen not to believe me. Some wounds, once carved deep, can never fully heal. I pulled out a pre-prepared separation agreement and held it out to him. Calm and resolute, Lin Qingyuan stared at it in disbelief. You wish to formally separate from me. I have admitted my wrongs. Why do you still insist? Who would take you if you leave me? Without a father figure, how will Manor navigate her marriage prospects in the future? Manor slipped her arm through mine. Father, I choose to stay with Mother. I patted my daughter's hand gently. Good girl. I then faced Lin Qingyuan. I devoted myself wholeheartedly to this household. Yet have you or your elder brother's family ever truly regarded me as your wife? If I had not planned ahead, you would have signed my divorce papers and abandoned our daughter right now. I turned away without waiting for his reply, walking off with Manor at my side, the day before Lin Qingyan's family departed for exile. Lin Wanner begged for an audience with me. She wore prisoner's coarse garb, her hair matted and dull, her eyes hollow and dead. Why did you destroy me? She screamed hoarsely. I only wanted a better life. Was that wrong? Why should you live in luxury while I scrape by as a dependent? Is it not only right the second branch support the eldest? This is all your fault. Your stinginess drove me to this. You pushed me down this path. There is no wrong in desiring a good life. I met her twisted gaze, my tone steady and calm. But your comfort ought never be built upon feeding off another person's blood and flesh. Still less should you treat others' kindness as a tool to manipulate and exploit as you please. Her eyes glazed, half understanding, half confused. Before bailiffs dragged her away blank-faced, with Lin Qingyan's family exiled, gossip faded across the capital. Yet unease lingered in my heart. I could not forget the venomous, serpent-like hatred in Lin Wanner's eyes as she was led off. This was no surrender, it was biding her time to strike again. Sure enough, 20 days after their exile convoy left the city, terrible news arrived. The prisoner carriage was ambushed, and Lin Wanner had escaped in the chaos. It snowed lightly in the capital that day. I had taken Manor outside to admire plum blossoms beside the frozen lake, when a deranged figure lunged from the plum grove straight for me. It was Lin Wanner, her eyes blazing red with madness. It is all your fault. You ruined me. Die. If you are dead, everything will be mine. I will drag you down with me to the grave. The frozen lake stood inches away, reviving the terror of my drowning death in my past life. At this critical moment, a strong arm hauled me sharply backward. It was Lin Qingyuan. He had followed me without my notice, throwing himself protectively in front of me and kicking Lin Wanner hard to the ground. He had witnessed firsthand the murderous frenzy burning in her eyes, intent on taking my life. In that instant, the last flicker of lingering guilt and hesitation he harbored toward her vanished entirely. Caught red-handed attempting murder, Lin Wanner was arrested on the spot. No intervention could save her this time. Her fate was to spend the rest of her days confined within the imperial prison. The snowfall ceased some time later, warm sunlight breaking through the clouds. Golden light spilled over the snow-covered ground, falling across me, my daughter, and Lin Qingyuan. After that, Lin Qingyuan visited my private residence repeatedly, begging for reconciliation. But what did it matter? In this lifetime, I live only for myself and my daughter.